We at Fit Body U at 725 Larry Power Road in Bourbonnais. Pretty serious gym here. I mean, we cater to the beginning gym users, and that's the intent, but the equipment here is just so good that I tend to attract some of the best lifters in the area. But I like that because now members can see how it's really done. So you might hear some noises in the background. Don't pay attention to those. Nonetheless, we got Kaylin Patterson, MidWest Muscle, showing off the wrestling poster for an upcoming event. Got a lot of the pro wrestlers we're going to have, but we're not talking about pro wrestling tonight. What are we talking about tonight, Kaylin?
Well, we're still talking about the Natural O and the competition and the level that it takes to actually step on stage and compete. Because, you know, we have a lot of people that are winning at the local shows, but they're still not making that competitive step up to step on a pro stage and place well, like a Chris Wells, like we were talking about. And when you have that kind of caliber of muscle size, conditioning, that's what it takes to compete on an international level. And I think you and Doug would be good for expressing what it takes, not just, you know, your family supporting you and thinking, oh, yeah, this is great, but actually being a competitive state, mind, and body to actually do something well at a pro show.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, it's certainly going to take a different physique at the pro level to compete and place in the top three than it would at the amateur level. The physiques are so different from the amateurs to the pros that just because you recently won an overall at even a good amateur show doesn't mean you're going to go right in and place at the top of a pro category. Chris Wells has been a pro for a while now, and he just recently placed 5th at the PNB Natural Olympia. Top American, though, at the Natural O. There were a lot of competitors there. I don't know how many for sure, but he was the top American bodybuilder in the pro men category at the Natural O, taking 5th place, and the top 4 were all Australians. The Natural O is pretty tremendous just because, I mean, it's hard enough to get competitors to cross state lines to go to your show. But this show, the Natural O, has competitors flying from other countries. Australia brings in 70 competitors, and they fly 16 hours just to compete in the Natural O. And that's pretty much what got my attention 5 years ago. I'm like, man, if these competitors are willing to fly that far, something's got to be good about this organization. So, lo and behold, I checked it out. Give it a shot. Check it out, naturalbodybuilding.com. And they just run really good shows there, but that's where the competition was. And what's your take on the Natural O?
You know, I didn't make it last year. I got to catch a little bit of streaming. I saw Christina Camperato. She's looking great as usual. Veronica Malloy. She's the last 2 years she's winning. She's going to be back to defend her title this year. I think she's also going to be at the Worlds. Couple names to look for, especially at the North American. Chris Wetzel. He's going to be looking really good. He's coming back to the North American. He competed last year. He won it, and I think he won his pro card at the Illinois State last year, correct? Yeah. Illinois State just coming up here. Brandon Lirio, he's coming back. He won his pro card at the Illinois State as well. I'm gonna let you talk a little bit more about the Natural O because I wasn't there last year.
Oh yeah. Chris Wetzel could be one to look for. Yeah, funny. He ended up getting something happened at his room, and I ended up being roommates with him for a weekend. But yeah, he stuck to his guns, and he's a true competitor, and he put on a lot of size, and he can make some good, promising progress this upcoming year. So check it out. One guy on my radar is Colby Cowart out of Team Gorman. This is the guy that won Joe Wilson's Arkansas show. He's going to be really tough to beat. So he's going to make his pro debut this fall. So look on the roster of competitors when you sign up for your show. And if you see Colby Cowart on there, that's going to be the one to beat right there, and that's the one on my radar. Also, Heather Owen, I'm going to give her props for Best Stage Presentation of 2016. You know, I go to a lot of shows, and most of the shows we go to are 150 to 200 competitors, and sometimes even more. And I really look for stage presence because anybody can bring the best physique to the stage, but not many of them really own the stage. But Heather Owen owned the stage, and she has Best Stage Presentation of the Year because she just looked like she was having fun out there. And that's what it's all about, looking like you're having fun. If you look nervous on stage, that totally messes up your stage presentation. So, you're going to get about 60 seconds after about 16 to 32 weeks of work. You better make sure you're not nervous for your stage presentation. And Heather Owen put on a clinic at the Minnesota Mayhem. I don't know what her plans are this year, but keep your eyes out for her. And also Kelly Furman. You know, there's the top half of the class, first and second, the bottom half of the class, third, fourth, fifth. That's how I separate the top from the bottom. And Kelly Furman last year, she found herself in the bottom half of the top 5. But that's the one I've seen the most amount of potential in. So if she brings her conditioning in tighter, tightens up those hamstrings, wins every single one of her back shots from behind, you can see Kelly Furman making her way up to the top of the classes in any show she enters. Minnesota Mayhem's coming up. So I'm really excited about this show. It's my show of the year. It's my pick to click. You got to check out the Minnesota Mayhem on Facebook. A lot of good things going on with the Minnesota Mayhem, and I think it's the fastest growing show in the whole entire industry. So what's your take on that, Doug?
This year we got the Crush It couple.
Ooh, I've heard of them. I never met them in person.
Samantha Sloan and Patrick Mabe. They're both coached by Brandon Wattis of Iron Management. Both pro. She's making her pro debut, Samantha is. So we're looking forward to seeing some heads turn when she gets on stage. Who else?
Oh, there's some good ones. There's a lot of questions. I think this could be an exciting year for natural bodybuilding. I mean, there's rumors out there you don't really know. You gotta consider the source when you hear certain things. I mean, you might hear like a Kiyoshi Moody coming out there, but I haven't heard it from him. But I'll tell you what, it's not like Kiyoshi would stay away. I think he's hungry right now. He's been away for a whole year. I don't remember the last time Kiyoshi actually took a year off. But this year we've seen a brand new Natural Olympia champion crowned in Michael Waddington because Kiyoshi decided to step aside. Okay, Rico wasn't there. So Michael Waddington was the top dog this year. But after taking a year off, Kiyoshi's hungry. And you could see, it's just a matter of where are you going to see him. And we're not even sure. I would give Kiyoshi competing a 20% chance. So that's how much I think we're going to see him this year. But the rumor's out there. And then there's other guys like Rico's always 8 weeks off from a show. I mean, no matter what time of the year it is, Philip Ricardo Jr. could say, okay, 6 weeks away, 8 weeks away, I'll be there and I'll be ready. So if he makes his mind up and makes the decision to compete, he'll do it. But I don't think he's going to compete again in the future, whether it's going to be this year or not. I'll give that one a 40% chance. But we'll see what happens there. It's a matter of how much fun he thinks he's going to have. What about Marshall Johnson? Let's talk about him for a second, Doug. He's a guy that we've seen more than anybody because I think he competes more frequently than anybody. And we like seeing Marshall Johnson every single year. But since he hasn't had an off season, he hasn't been able to put on any additional size. Now, every single show he goes to, he's the most conditioned. And even more impressive, he does it without a prep coach. He just goes by feel, doesn't count macros like most of us do. He just goes by feel and eats the way his body tells him to eat. And he comes in just peeled. And that's never a problem. But if he wants to keep up with these up-and-comers like the Chris Wells and the Marcel Roberts and Terrence Terrell and guys like that, he's going to need to keep on as much size as he can possibly keep. What do you think about that, Doug?
I think anybody who wants to actually get up and grow, I mean, you're going to have to take a break. Christina Camperato, she's kicking around the idea of taking a break for a year, but she's been active the last 3 years. Anybody out there that's nonstop is never going to get that opportunity to make a change. You've got to come in with tools to change to be able to adapt to the new style. You got people coming in that have never competed before that are just blessed with freak genetics that are going to step on stage, and I think you're going to see a lot of freaks come into the classic physique. I mean, I think this year we're going to see classic physique blow up, and you might be doubting me, but I'll tell you, keep an eye on it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, bikini's growing really fast. Men's physique's growing really fast. Classic physique will be going. However, Peter Hartwig is the ideal look when it comes to classic physique. Before we end this video, we have to talk about female natural bodybuilding and show the female natural bodybuilders out there some love. Just when you thought I was going to forget about you, I'm bringing you up in the very end because I'm saving the best for last. Female bodybuilder to look for. I have a feeling we're going to see this girl this year. The toughest competition I've seen, the closest competition. There's always one good competitor in each class. But at the Minnesota Mayhem last year, you hear that? That's because we're hardcore here at Fit Body U. We got our share of lifters here. But Nadine Schmidt versus Ella Thomas. Ella Thomas makes progress year after year. She never looks the same. She always looks better. You know, some competitors look the same or worse. Ella looks better every single time she steps on stage. So if she keeps doing that in 2017, even if she meets Nadine again, she could possibly get the topple over Nadine this year. But look for that matchup and more coming up your way. What do you think, Kaylin?
I think it's going to be a phenomenal year. I'm really surprised. I'll always be surprised with the naturals coming up, the amateurs. I mean, you know, like on the pros, we got Christian Backey falling out with the injury. We got Chris Goodman out with an injury. And these were the ones that were really coming in on the pros on the top level where they were improving. And now they're being sidelined with injuries. So basically, those are going to be the ones to watch with these top names. But on the amateur side, I mean, it's basically just wide open on who's going to be coming up and doing what. So who do you have as far as being the best in your mind this year with so many transitions? Like you said, Rico's out. He can, you know, Kiyoshi. We don't really have those top names other than Marshall because everybody else is kind of like, well, who are they? Because we really don't have a top best of the best. Who do you think we can have this year and going forward will be the best of the year?
This year, best of the year, Waddington's defending his title. You got Richard Gozdecki out there. But the thing is, you're not going to see those guys on the same stage, and that's a shame. You could see them on the same stage, but that's one name I would like to see against some of the top dogs out there is Richard Gozdecki. And I haven't gotten to see much of him in person, but from what I have seen, he would be my guy to beat in that division, the heavyweight division. And you're always going to have a hungry lion who nobody knows, who comes out of nowhere. Like my hungry lion last year was Terrence Terrell. Even though he took sixth place at the Minnesota Mayhem, I think he made a statement, and he's only 26 years old. He's going to take a couple of years off. He's going to come back. He was genetic. Yeah, he's got the genetics to be a bodybuilder. Small waistline, so take a look. Be on the lookout for Terrence Terrell. I already mentioned Heather Owen, but if she competes this year, she'll be a force. And then, make sure if you guys compete this year to get a posing coach. I'm at Fit Body U if you guys want free posing lessons here. If you're in the Chicagoland area, just stop by. I got a little posing room, and I'll go over some mandatory poses with you. And especially in the bodybuilding division, not so much in bikini and all that. Anyway, go take it away.
Well, thanks, Mike. We're going to end it now because you got a job to do, and like you said, you got some hungry clients that are ready to work. So thanks, Doug Miller. Thanks so much, Mike. Always good to stop in to Fit Body U. Kaylin Patterson, Mike Superhuman, Inside Natural Bodybuilding. Don't forget to check in on your naturals. Kaylin Patterson, Mike Superhuman Newman, we are out.
Out.